Mesoamerica, a land of impenetrable jungles, towering volcanoes, and empires that rose and fell in oceans of blood. When we think of the Aztecs, we picture a civilization of staggering contradictions. They were master astronomers who mapped the heavens, brilliant engineers who built a floating city of gold and stone, and poets who wrote beautiful verses about the fleeting nature of life. But beneath this veneer of extreme sophistication lay a foundation of unimaginable brutality. The Aztec Empire was fueled by a singular, terrifying belief. The sun would literally die, and the universe would collapse if the gods were not constantly fed with human blood. But beneath this veneer of extreme sophistication lay a foundation of unimaginable brutality. The Aztec Empire was fueled by a singular, terrifying belief. The sun would literally die, and the universe would collapse if the gods were not constantly fed with human blood. The year was 1999. A team of archaeologists was excavating the ruins of the Aztec city of Tlatelolco, deep within the ancient layers of forgotten temple dedicated to the wind god Tlatelolco. They made a grim discovery. They unearthed the skeletal remains of a 20-year-old man. He had been a sacrificial victim, his life taken centuries ago in a brutal ritual to appease the forces of nature. But it wasn't the skeleton that caught the attention of the researchers. Clutched tightly in the bony, severed fingers of the deceased victim lay two strange, unassuming artifacts. They were small figures, intricately molded from baked clay, in the distinct and unmistakable shape of human skulls. At first, the scientific community didn't know what to make of them. They were cataloged and dismissed as simple ceremonial ornaments, perhaps toys, or just macabre trinkets meant to accompany the dead into the afterlife. For years, they sat in a museum storage room, gathering dust. Then, a researcher made a decision that would send chills down the spine of history. He took one of the clay skulls, wiped away the ancient dust, noticed a small opening at the base, brought it to his lips, and blew into it. Before we reveal the most terrifying sound in human history, if you are fascinated by the dark mysteries of our past and the secrets hidden in the dirt, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It takes just a second, but it really helps us uncover more forgotten histories. Now, turn up your volume and prepare yourself. Before we reveal the most terrifying sound in human history, if you are fascinated by the dark mysteries of our past and the secrets hidden in the dirt, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It takes just a second, but it really helps us uncover more forgotten histories. Now, turn up your volume and prepare yourself. Before we reveal the most terrifying sound in human history, if you are fascinated by the dark mysteries of our past and the secrets hidden in the dirt, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It takes just a second, but it really helps us uncover more forgotten histories. Now, turn up your volume and prepare yourself. Using modern X-rays, CT scans, and 3D computer modeling, acoustic researchers peered inside the solid clay. What they found blew their minds. Inside the skull, the Aztecs had not just carved a hollow space. They had engineered a complex collision chamber. When air is forced inside, it is split into multiple streams that crash into each other violently. The ancient craftsmen designed these internal chambers to perfectly mimic the anatomical structure of a human larynx and vocal cords. But not just a normal larynx. It was shaped to replicate a human throat distorted by the ultimate, frantic agony of death. To understand why the Aztecs would dedicate such brilliant engineering to crafting an instrument of pure nightmare, we have to look at their terrifying mythology. In the Aztec religion, the wind was not just weather. It was a god named Tlatelolco. But the wind was also deeply associated with the Underworld, ruled by the fearsome god Mictlantecuhtli, a skeletal deity adorned with eyeballs and human bones. When a person died, their soul didn't just float to a peaceful heaven. It had to undertake a brutal, 4-year journey down into Mictlan, a realm of freezing winds that blew like obsidian knives, tearing the flesh from the bones of the dead. During monumental ceremonies of mass human sacrifice, when the massive fires illuminated the great pyramids of Tenochtitlan, the high priests would blow dozens of these whistles in unison. They believe this deafening, shrieking howl would summon the violent winds of the underworld, guiding the souls of the freshly sacrificed victims down into the dark. The sheer volume of the clay skulls will completely mask the actual, real screams of the sacrificial victims, turning the brutal ritual into a deafening symphony of horror for the crowds below. But the temples were not the only place these skulls wailed. They were weapons of psychological warfare, used to break the minds of their enemies before a single drop of blood was spilled. Historical accounts from the Spanish Conquistadors, who arrived in the 16th century, describe the sheer terror of facing the Aztec military. Imagine you are a warrior of a rival tribe, or a Spanish soldier in heavy armor, standing in a dense, fog-covered jungle before dawn. You cannot see the enemy. Suddenly, from the darkness, comes a sound. But it is not just one whistle. It is hundreds. The elite Aztec jaguar and eagle warriors are advancing to the trees, and they are blowing into their death whistles simultaneously. The combined acoustic strike creates a wall of screaming noise. It shatters your psyche. Historical texts suggest that many rival warriors simply dropped their weapons and wept in terror, or fled into the jungle, convinced that an actual army of flesh-eating demons had risen from the underworld to claim their souls. To conquer an enemy, the Aztecs knew they didn't always need to fight them. They just needed to plant pure, paralyzing terror in their hearts. Centuries have passed. The Aztec Empire is gone, swallowed by time and jungle. Yet, this sound still holds absolute power over us today. Why? Because we cannot escape our biology. Recently, modern neuroscientists decided to test the death whistle's effect on the human brain. They played the sound of volunteers while scanning their brains inside functional MRI machines. The results were fascinating and terrifying. The human brain processes normal music in the auditory cortex, analyzing rhythm and melody. But the sound of the death whistle is different. It possesses what acousticians call nonlinear characteristics, unpredictable, chaotic frequencies that natural elements rarely produce. When the MRI machine scanned the volunteers, they saw that the sound of the whistle completely bypassed the logical, thinking centers of the brain. Instead, it struck directly at the amygdala, the ancient, primal core of our brain responsible for fight-or-flight response. It is our evolutionary alarm system. When you hear this sound, your body reacts instantly. Your pupils dilate to let in more light. A massive dose of adrenaline floods your bloodstream. Goosebumps erupt across your skin, and your heart races into a panic rhythm. You don't decide to be scared. You are evolutionarily programmed to fear the scream. The Aztec death whistle is not just a relic. It is a masterpiece of psychological terror, carved in stone and clay by a civilization that understood the darkest truths of the human mind. It is a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying weapons in history aren't the ones that cut flesh, but the ones that break the spirit. Would you ever dare to hold this clay skull in the dark and blow into it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the shadows of history, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next investigation. The Aztec Empire may have fallen into ruin, but their screams will echo forever.